go. There is a voice without sound.
Welcome back to Unity in our community. You are listening to Jessie Grace on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM. If you're just joining us, my guests today are Mend, and they do work all across the UK to break down barriers and to tackle Islamophobia. And you were just going to tell us about the event you've got coming up in Cathays, is it, on the 22nd of June?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jess. It's called Discover Hajj, which is in a mosque called Darul Isra in Cathays, and that is going to start at 7:20 for 2 hours. And one of the key things within that is that we need to highlight about it's a perfect chance to introduce your neighbors, colleagues, friends to the Muslims pilgrimage that is called Hajj. And
nice.
A delicious food that contains.
I was hoping you were going to say food.
No, that contains biryani.
Oh,
right. So just you need to register.
How do you register? Okay, so if somebody's listening and they want to come to that event, where should they go?
I can tell you the website email address. It's interfaith@darulisra.org.uk. Yes.
So, and the other thing we wanted to talk about before you go, because obviously this show goes so quickly, it's 20 to 3 already, just, about other ways, you were talking about some facts and how you break down these kind of prejudice, I guess, against British Muslims.
Yeah, so in terms of tackling Islamophobia, like what you guys can do just as a local community is just to, I think like part of debunking myths is also engaging with the community. So like some of the stuff Farooq was talking about is a great opportunity. That's one way to engage with the community, is to learn more about the religion. But if you want to know more about the people as well, is access those community spaces where you would, naturally come across people from various backgrounds. And it's not necessarily something as simple as seeing someone in hijab and start talking to them. Anyone could be Muslim, and there's no particular appearance per se. So really get yourself out there in the community if you're an organization or if you're just anyone in the community and you want to go to those spaces. If you don't feel comfortable, like Farooq said, there's loads of spaces that are open, welcoming and friendly. And in terms of just debunking some myths, I think I'll talk a bit about some perceptions now.
Yeah, sure.
The reason I focus on that buzzword perceptions is because with Islamophobia, obviously in today's topic, is it's sort of fueled by perceptions that are set obviously in various institutions, like the media, and there are other ways.
All the government.
Yeah, all the governments. Certain political statements have been made that are obviously very harmful and conflate those negative narratives, whether it's about what Sharifah was talking about earlier about Muslim women being oppressed or something of that nature. And one thing I was drawn on the analogy, and we've done this before in our workshops with police, for instance, when we talk about the Muslim community, is we show a picture and it's like I think it's two women on a beach. One is wearing a bikini and one is wearing like a burkini or something that's sort of covering her from her head to her ankle. And there's a comment box and it says, "Oh, what's she wearing?" And the other person saying, "What's she wearing?" And it's all about perception. Both are okay because at the end of the day they're a choice. They're a choice by the individual, and that's the way we need to sort of understand whenever we see anybody, that we need to respect differences. One of the do you know what's funny is I think people forget actually one of the fundamental British values that's enshrined by government is to respect other people's religions and identities, and we just don't do that. So we say that Islam, for example,
they need to lead by example.
Yeah, we say that Islam is like not compatible with British society, but one of the fundamental British rights is to respect everyone's religion and
absolutely.
And their identity, and they're wanting to practice their faith and other things freely. I was going to ask you a question, actually, if you don't mind. And this is not, we're not going to judge you or anything. It's just I wanted to know how much of the population in the UK do you think is Muslim? And you can give a percentage out of 100. I'm just curious. Okay,
let me have a think. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say like 20.
20% of the UK? Okay. Can I ask, is there a reason? Like, was that an educated guess, or is it just...
Well, I just... No, it's not really. I just think that I've met... Obviously, I work for East, and I've got a lot of colleagues. I'm a minority at work, so, and also, obviously, I've got some connections with UAE, and so I've kind of, maybe I know a little bit more than the average person, or maybe I just know more Muslim people than the average person. I don't know.
No, that's really interesting. So actually, we only make up 5% of the entire.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Of the entire UK population. Do you know why it's interesting? One, because the most targeted religious group for hate crime are Muslims. That's Home Office stats.
Yeah.
And you can find that yourself on the Home Office website. And it's crazy when you think we only make 5% of the population.
Yeah,
what that means is, I think there was an Ipsos Mori poll actually of Wales, anyways, and I think over 50% of the Welsh population thought that there was more than 20% of Muslims here, which is crazy when you think about it, because it means a lot of these people have never actually met a Muslim in their life. They've never engaged with the practice of religion.
Also, I think, like the media, you say, we're part of the problem, and that's how I got into media, was part of Telling Our Own Stories project with East. And because we're trying to change the narratives and things. So obviously, they have these ridiculous headlines sometimes, like I don't know. I remember a few years ago, somebody I was just having a conversation, and somebody said to me something. Oh, do you know, like in Birmingham, there's no go areas now because it's Sharia law, like something. I was just like, what? I was like, have you actually been there? Like, have you even been there? Like, it's just like, where is this idea that you've got in your head? Like, guys, you have to be careful about who writes the media, who owns the media, and who benefits from the story that they are telling you.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing with tackling Islamophobia, or just like understanding Islam, understanding Muslims. One thing we do is we engage with them, right? Like some of the events that are going on and things. But another is we do have to penetrate those institutions, and how we can do that. I know when we look at the media, we feel powerless. We're just watching the news. We're just digesting that information. We're consuming it. But actually, there is this is a plug, but there is a toolkit on our website, a media toolkit, which is basically a way for you to.
Oh, I'm going to go and check that out.
Report. How do you do it? Which mechanisms do you use? What actions can you take as just like an average person, I say average, but just someone who's consuming the media, whether you want to or not, how you can challenge that narrative. It's really useful. It's this easy step by step. So if you ever feel
I think we need to do more work together.
And if you want if you want to make a change from your laptop sitting at home, just check that out, because it's really, really helpful.
You can be the change. That's one of the principles of our show, is be the change that you want to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one way. And another thing is just understanding that I do want to highlight there's loads of positive contributions that people are making in the UK. There was loads of contributions.
Yes, tell us about these.
Yeah, so I mean historically, I want to touch upon that one because people probably don't know about it. In World War II, again, I'm ballparking it. You can find it online, fact check. But it's like over 400,000 Indian soldiers who are Muslim actually supported. When I say support, fought for the war. And there was other individuals who pioneered certain devices and technological stuff as well during the war that people don't know about. I think one of the first curry houses in London was pioneered by an Indian Muslim, which is now what we have this British culture of having a curry every Friday night because of that. So there's all these positive things that have come on the back of introducing Muslims to Britain. And some of the more recent things is we've got, during COVID, that's very recent for all of us, and it still is. There was a lot of local groups all across the UK. There was a particular women's group in Swansea, which for the life of me, I can't remember their names, but they were amazing. They just decided to arrange like their own personal food bank and delivered and distributed certain things that people needed. So it wasn't just food, but it was other materials as well. And there's things like that we just don't talk about, and they're not on the media that we don't know about. So well, it'd be
interesting to do a little series about that, wouldn't it? Like the history, and highlight some of those heroes, and just get them out more. I mean, it's just a shame it's not known more mainstream.
But I want just to touch upon this, if you don't mind, Jess. This
Absolutely.
Year, so there's this external campaign called Islamophobia Awareness Month. This year's theme is called Muslim Stories. So they're going to do just exactly that, which is highlighting a bunch of community heroes, a bunch of national heroes as well. So just look out for that as well. They're going to probably put out, I think, like graphics, maybe social media graphics, and tell you a story of all those people in the UK.
Yeah. So before we go, because we're going to have to sadly wrap up now, just say, like, if somebody's in Cardiff and they've listened to this show, maybe they're an individual or maybe they're an organisation, you know, what could they do? How could they get involved in the community? And also, you know, maybe they can get in touch with you and you've got some training if there's an organisation who wants to tackle Islamophobia or make themselves more you know, adaptable to people of Muslim faith in their workplace.
Yeah, no, that's a great, I think, summary point. So if you're an organisation, we offer free training. We have like a list of different trainings, that, like they're interactive workshops. They touch upon different things. Like we'll talk about how to be an active bystander. We'll do a more holistic training on like institutions and how do we challenge them and things like that. We offer that for free. So if you want to get in touch about that and you want to organise something, we've done it with NHS trusts, we've done it with police, we've done it with really anyone, even schools. We're having one with the school in July, actually, which is interesting for the youth. If you're just, you know, part of the community and you resonate with the cause, you resonate with some of Farooq's experiences, or, you know, you just want to learn or educate yourself more, you can volunteer with us or get in touch anyways for the resource. You can check out the website. And in terms of events, you know, we try to support other people's events. So, for example, Srebrenica's coming up as well on the 11th of July. Obviously, that's a really important day. You know, International Women's Day, anything you feel that you want to engage with the Muslim community or talk a little bit more about this issue about racism and hate crime, just get in touch with us. We have a volunteer email, which is cardiff@mend.org.uk, and you know, yeah, basically that you'd get in touch with our volunteers straight away, and they're obviously the community people, so they could meet you in person as well. But yeah, that's
fabulous. That's brilliant. So just say your website one more time.
So the website is www.mend.org.uk. But if you want to get in touch,
easy.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to get in touch about anything, though, you can email our volunteers at cardiff@mend.org.uk, and someone will get in touch with you ASAP. Really.
So Cardiff
at mend, so MEND.org.uk.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in and talking on unity in our community, because we're all about unity in the community and being that change and breaking down these barriers and things like that. I'm going to play another local artist now, and we'll be back next week with another guest. So again, thank you guys for joining me live in the studio. Thank you
Jess.
to everyone. This is Golden Hour by Freya LC.